koutou, koroa, ko Hakarangi, te maunga, ko Mangahea, te awa, ko ua nui te whenua, ko Waituhi ahau e noho ana. Ko Sandy Balltapu Papa and ko Corin Balltapu Mama Bridget. Papa ahau he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. Mike and I are first going to speak about the Hort Centre, Hort area, and cropping.
You have to, sorry, just interrupting, you need to speak up so acoustics are
Good.
Yeah, just loud.
Speak up louder.
Good. I've actually got a very loud voice, so that's good. If I turn my hearing aids off, I actually shout. Okay, so Mike and I have been asked to present on. Can you all hear me? Is it okay? A bit louder?
A bit louder, like
Bit
this.
louder.
Yeah.
Mike and I have been asked to present on cropping and hort. So it was originally just hort, but of course cropping comes in with it, and it's the intensive growing of produce. So how does our sector use and rely on the land? Well, Te Tairawhiti has excellent alluvial soils, which hold moisture and nutrients well, with minimum leaching. We have high sunshine hours with high UV and a good rainfall, sometimes very good. We have, historically, we have had excellent quality and quantity of water as well, and we've also had, and that has come from rainfall, aquifers, rivers and bores. The Tairawhiti soils and climate are advantageous for hort and cropping practices. Some examples are, which you'll all know these, but it's surprising how big it is, sweet corn, maize, squash, lettuce, silver beet, spinach, kale, everything that you grow in your gardens at home, plus melons, berries, oranges, lemons, mandarins, apples, kiwi fruit, nashis, pear, plums, bananas, beetroot, potatoes, komoro, yams, beans, peas, flowers, pumpkin, and so it goes on. And within each of these areas, there are many sub-areas. And the reality is that this district, Te Tairawhiti, is really the food bowl of New Zealand. And we must remind ourselves how lucky we are, both in all of the areas up the coast, the Waipu, Uawa, right down through Poverty Bay. We have fabulous soil. In fact, our soils and our climate and our growing conditions are considered to be in the top 4 of the world. Therefore, we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing to look after them? We all have an ownership of that land and the people that work it. So I think over the last few years, especially the last 30, that a lot of people have started to feel abstract from their whenua. We've had a large amount of international companies buy into New Zealand. The majority of the East Coast is now planted and owned by, not just planted, not leased, but owned by overseas companies, such as IKEA. Don't buy those products. Every time you buy them, you're putting some more carbon in the air.
What's your brand name?
IKEA. Both highly technical machinery and older machinery can be used to produce most of these crops I've just talked about. The Hort Centre is heavily labour intensive and also has a big technical requirement. Maize and sweet corn are more machine dependent, but much of the horticulture also relies on highly skilled staff, especially in apples and kiwi fruit. So that's the end of question 1 for me. Mike, did you want to add anything in there?
I think, yeah, we're growing kiwi fruit, as probably a lot of you know, and yeah, it is what Bridget said. It's we've got high sunshine hours and it's highly fertile dirt. That's the East Coast, you know, Tairawhiti, the whole thing. So Yeah, we're feeling pretty left out at the moment, and the opportunity for employment is huge. The kiwi fruit, it's a single desk selling system. It's the only setup in the Western world where it's a single desk, and the 5-year outlook is very, very good for kiwi fruit. The prices are consistent, barring a world war, as we say. So they've got good systems in place, employing people. The pastoral care for people, the workers, even the owners are good. We have our moments with adversity, but it's a very positive industry to be in, and it employs a lot of people. And yes, that's sort of a bit of an add-on there, and there's opportunity for that to expand. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
And Uawa especially. How is your sector affected by the cyclone or other events, including dry weather? And what future effects do you foresee? Well, obviously our sector was unfortunately affected to a disastrous degree, as were many other sectors. We were affected both from natural and man-made events. The last one could not have hit at a more vulnerable stage. Hail plus Gabriel within 3 weeks, because the crops were ready to go. And the same thing happened in Cyclone Bowler. We were farming the same piece of land at that time. And it was as big a disaster, if not bigger. However, in Cyclone Bowler, we mainly had water with some silting, but no logs, no debris, and there was no heavy, low nutrition or low nitrogen silt, which comes straight out of monocultural and monocultural forests. And that means that the nutrition's low, the biological activity is low, and unfortunately, that is the big difference between the Bowler flooding and this flooding. So the silt that came with Bowler was mainly off farms that were having input of nitrogen. There was a lot of native that grows underneath the native forests came down, and it was fantastic. Anyway, so we just want to say that large amounts of putia can be gained or lost overnight in our industry, which have monumental impacts on both the whānau, the whenua, and the wai. Personally, the logging debris, silt and water inundated our rohi in every conceivable way, affecting marae, entire properties, the roading, bridges. Every bridge in the district acted as a slash catcher. Most of them stayed up. Homes, beaches, before finally settling on top of our kaimoana breeding grounds. Machinery was unable to operate safely, and he tangata, the people, did not like to work in these conditions, and they were not safe. We have felt paralysed from the fear of rules and red tape since, because to fix these problems we need consenting.
Sorry, a couple of
2 minutes?
tips.
2 minutes? Is that
Yeah,
what you
that's very quick.
said? Okay, quickly,
I'll
number
just say
3.
just a very quick plea on the red tape. As we are looking to our leaders, they have got to make clearer and quicker decisions and not just get unravel what's happened and we've just got to move on, or we're going to basically sink and die. So we have to get up and listen to us that are on the land.
Yeah,
all
okay.
you people that anyway.
So solutions, I'm just going to say this really quickly, you'll just have to pad it out later. Sustainable energy, wind, water, wave, wood, solar. There's plenty of them that we need to get stuck in and use. Recycling of both product and the wai. Selective harvesting of both freshwater, saltwater, indigenous species such as gum, redwoods, totara. A big factor that we feel is that we need to look at rail and we need the government to rail through the Waiwika Gorge. They need to rail north, come off the sea. The roading needs to leave the sea. The majority of problems out there are to do with our roads falling into the sea. They do it all over the world. They rail. We need to come inland, and we need to rail up, down and through. There's no reason that we couldn't do that, and we would have a much safer and stronger infrastructure. We need to get storage of wine, storage and supply of water needs to be improved hugely, and it should be rohi-led. Overseas investment needs to be halted as far as Pinus radiata goes in this district, and that land needs to be gifted back to hapu. At least 50% of the current people logging this district are ruining it, polluting it. They need to go, and that land should be broken up and sent back to hapu of the East Coast. We need to protect our minerals, not listen to Shane Jones. We need to support the walk around the coast, the tourism, and I think we need to think about the amazing things that our forebears have done here. They built huge wharves, they built amazing bridges, they built an incredible harbour, where my grandfather died actually, building it. They built ships. They sent meat, frozen meat from our freezing works here overseas. We are clever. We are resourceful. We are creative. We must not degrade the Māori of the water of the wrong purpose. We need to store it, look after it, and respect it. Thank you.